Okay. And Rao, thank you so much for being on the Get Foxy Show. I am so excited to finally have you on this show because I've been wanting you to be on the show since its inception. For the listeners, the introduction that you hear at the beginning of the show, that's actually Anne's voice. So, Anne was more than willing to help me out with that. So I'm excited to have you here today and to talk to my listeners about Art of Feminine Presence work.
Yeah, I'm super excited to be here, Terry. Thank you so much for having me come on the show. I've been wanting to come on as well since the first time we talked about it when it was just a little baby idea. We were trying to come up with the name. But yeah, super excited to be here and just share Art of Feminine Presence, what it is, and really how I work with women to achieve career success. So I'm super excited to share that with you.
Excellent. Well, tell me right off the bat, what is Art of Feminine Presence and how did you start getting into it?
Yeah, great question. So Art of Feminine Presence is a body of work that envelops tangible practices or envelops physical and energetic practices that get you tangible results. So it's not, you hear programs out there like, be the feminine goddess, and they teach women if you just act more feminine and look more feminine and change your mindset and believe that it will happen, that it happens, but you don't actually feel any tangible results, notice any changes, and that this body of work is not that at all. You notice differences right away and you see results right away. And the practices in the Art of Feminine Presence work, they're really designed to not just shift your energy and help you change your mindset, but really to create massive change in your life. Undo old patterns and habits that aren't serving you anymore and create new habits and patterns that are going to serve you better. Really, it's like my teacher and friend Rachel Jane Gruber, who created the Art of Feminine Presence, says all the time, it's like if you've got the handbrake on, how do you let it off? And the practices in the Art of Feminine Presence really help you to take that handbrake off so you can start moving forward and really living the life you want, so that, you can increase your income, you can have better relationships, create more quality connections, and really up-level in your career or your expertise. The way I got into the work, Terry, was, I have my own business. The business I have now is different than what I used to have at the time that I got involved in the work. So a few years back, I had a health center, and I was working as a massage specialist and holistic health practitioner. And I realized that I really needed support of the community and a coach that could teach me how to go to the next level. So I got involved in a business and personal development leadership program. And that program is now called Awaken Your Impact Mastery. And that program was where I was introduced to a lot of the practices that I teach in the Art of Feminine Presence work. So after getting introduced to those practices, I was like, hey, there's something to this. I really like this. I gelled with the practices really well because they were very similar to practices I had learned and had been utilizing from back in massage school. So in massage school, we're taught energy work. We're taught how to ground ourselves and center ourselves to help with our ability to not take on the energy of the people around us and to really connect with our clients, but also not transfer our energy and our baggage onto them when we're working with them in such an intimate environment where touch is involved for healing purposes. So I'd already been doing a lot of the grounding and centering practices for years that were very similar to what I was learning in the coaching program. And they're very similar to what I'm taught in Art of Feminine Presence. So I was like, I really like this work. I'm noticing changes. I went back, kept using the practices. Clients who saw me twice a month, once a month, started making comments to me of, what are you doing? You just seem happier and you seem less stressed. When in reality, my stress had actually gone up at the time. My stress was through the roof. If I was not careful of taking care of myself, I was very close to burnout because I was having to take care of my father, who has massive health issues, my mom, who's had health issues her whole life, and both of them were getting worse, and the situation just was not good. So I'm trying to run a business, trying to support renters and colleagues, and trying to take care of my parents, and trying to be a wife at the same time and still have some semblance of life. So I thought, there's something to this work. So I decided to go to a big 3-day weekend for Art of Feminine Presence. And at that weekend, it was so transformational to watch and experience the women in this room. There was 100 of us in this room for 3 days, going through these practices, connecting with each other, being a part of a supportive community that creates a safe environment. It's not judgmental. You're there to appreciate, support, and love each other with wherever you're at in your journey. And it was amazing to watch those women go through all the changes they were able to go through and work through everything. And then for myself, I came out of that weekend completely different as well. And so I decided, okay, I want to teach this. So I got involved in teaching the work. And there's 2 different levels of certification and licensing to be a teacher in it. And so I'm a level 2 licensed, fully certified Art of Feminine Presence teacher. As of middle of next year, I have a fun announcement. I will be a master teacher of Art of Feminine Presence. I will be going through a level 3 program that they just opened up, which is super, super exciting. Not only will I get to teach the work, but I will actually get to train individuals, mostly women, but also possibly you, Terry, if you choose to, in 9 of the basic practices, because 9 of the basic practices work for women and men. But I get to actually teach them how to teach those practices so they can take them back to their community, back to their tribe, back to their people, and keep sharing the value of this work and spreading this work as much as it can possibly, be spread. So anyway, so that's how I got into Art of Feminine Presence. It's been life-changing for me. It's been huge. I've been doing it. I've been teaching since 2015. So it's been about 2.5 years. And this is all I do now, pretty much. I'm retired from being a massage specialist and being a holistic health practitioner. And I do classes and workshops and do private coaching with women and men on a regular basis.
That's fantastic. I'm so excited that you're actually getting more advanced training. That's huge.
It is.
For the ladies that are listening, and really for some of us guys that tune in as well, what exactly do you mean by feminine presence? What is feminine presence?
So feminine presence, Terry, it's everybody has a different definition of what does it mean to be feminine. So some people think, feminine means for, women that they get their hair done, they put on their makeup, they dress in nice, dresses and feminine looking clothing. And that's a piece of it. But, feminine is really about being feminine and being connected to your feminine essence within you as a woman, and embodying that feminine energy of that essence when you're connected to it is really where feminine presence comes from. So it comes from within you as a woman. And, for all the women that are listening, this is not something that you learn or you go and obtain. You already have it. It's already in you. And most women, we've just disconnected from it. So when I teach my classes and workshops and do the coaching, what I really teach is, first we want to look at feminine and look at that as an embodiment, an energy that you embody, and then look at presence. And then we put the two together. So presence is really about where are you at right now with your thoughts, with your energy, and where are you at with what's going on with you physically. So your presence is about being 100% present in the moment with yourself and with whoever you're spending time with. Or if you're working, maybe you're typing an email, you need to be 100% present to the task that you are working on. But it's really about, is your energy with you where you're at, and are your thoughts on what you're doing in that moment, versus as you're talking to someone, like right now we're talking, I could be thinking about what I have to do in 2 hours. I'm not going to be 100% present with you. My energy is going to be someplace else completely. My thoughts are going to be someplace else completely. My focus is on something different than what I'm actually doing. The other part of presence is being completely in your body. You really need to feel your body and be connected with your body, and not have your thoughts up outside of your head and your energy up outside of your head and your attention completely away from you and disconnected from you. I like to call it, the way I describe it is, think of a cartoon bubble that's outside the cartoon character's head, and it has all the words and sentences going through it. Most of the time, that's where most of us live. We live in our own little cartoon bubbles with our thoughts and our energy and our attention up outside of ourselves. Oftentimes, a lot of us can go through the day and literally never have any conscious awareness of having felt our legs or our feet. And so really being in your body, feeling how you feel physically, feeling how you feel emotionally, noticing where you're at with your attention and your thoughts is extremely important if you want to be more magnetic, more radiant, and you really want to be seen and heard by people that you work with, that you're in relationship with. And so that piece of presence is massively important. And so when you take a woman and she embodies her feminine energy, the essence that she's meant to embody, just the way she is, and really connect her with it, and then you bring in that piece of presence and you put the two together, you just have this massive amplification of radiance and of someone who can be centered and grounded and focused and not get thrown off track or knocked off course when life's throwing all the crap at them, right? You got the kids screaming and yelling, you got clients calling you, you got family members wanting your attention. How do you not burn out with that and not get completely knocked off course or off kilter? And it's really comes down to the basics of being connected to your body, being in your feminine energy, really enjoying that part of yourself and being present with yourself and with what you're doing.
Yeah. When I am in the presence of a woman who is conscious of both her femininity and present, to me that is almost the definition of foxy. Plain and simple for me. But what does foxy mean to you, Anne?
I love that question. Great question. I was thinking of that all evening yesterday as I was getting ready for our conversation today. And what I really want the listeners to get with this is, Foxy is about not just an attitude, but it's really about how you feel about yourself, how you view yourself, and how you love yourself. And what, being foxy means to me is when a woman can bring all the different sides of herself together and really integrate them. So when a woman is got that soft, caring, sensitive side to herself, and then she integrates that with, loving herself in the way she looks and appreciating herself and really feeling good in her body and good in her skin, and then brings out that sassiness, that spark, and really allows her radiance to shine, and then combines that with her feminine presence, like we just talked about, and really allows herself to be a little sexy. When you integrate all those things together, that's what being foxy is.
Has there been a time in your life where you couldn't find that foxy part of you? And if there,
absolutely.
Okay, then what did you do to reclaim that?
So the biggest thing for me was recognizing and realizing and accepting. I mean, acceptance is huge, but recognizing and realizing that what was going on in my life wasn't working. And that whether I liked it or not, I had challenges and struggles that were happening on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis that were making me very unhappy. They were preventing me from connecting with my family and my friends and really, having a good, intimate relationship with my husband. So that was the first step, the awareness around that I don't know who I am anymore. I'm not happy. I'm just going through the monotony of the day to day, and I'm not enjoying life. That awareness was huge. And then what that allowed me to do was be more open and in curiosity about, why do I feel this way? Why are these struggles and these challenges coming up and occurring? And do I want to do the work? Because you have to do the work and really, did I have the courage to focus on myself and take time for myself? And when I came to, when I came to the place with myself where I could love myself enough to say, yes, I deserve this, then that's when the doors started to open. That's when people started coming into my life, like my good friend and coach, Rachel Jane, other people that were very supportive of what I was doing and where I was at and encouraging. And that's when the shift started happening. And then really getting involved with the Art of Feminine Presence work, using the practices, not just learning it once and then putting it in a toolbox, so to speak, but actually practicing the practices, incorporating them into my life and making them a part of my routine, like many of us do with yoga, with going to the gym, musicians. I mean, they can't get good if they don't practice. You can't make change if you don't practice. So really, incorporating personal growth and development work into my life was the catalyst to be able to start making the changes that I needed to make in order to get the things that I wanted to get and get out of the pain that I was in.
Which of these practices, because it sounds like there's definitely a handful of them, which of these practices do you find most beneficial for your day-to-day work?
So the practices, so just so you know, there's 44 practices in the body of work. And there's 2 levels. Most women, so all women start out with level 1, and most women stay within that area of the level 1 practices, which is 22 practices, for at least a good year, if not longer. But the practices can be interwoven. But the practices I use the most are practices that help me get grounded, help me get centered, really help me with my focus and where my attention is at, and put it on the things it needs to be on, so that I can stay in the potential of what I want to do and stay tuned into, my potential FM radio station, so to speak, so that I can really create the life I want. The opportunities, when they come up, they don't just stay opportunities and then never go anywhere. I can actually follow through on those things and not end up burned out. So I utilize those practices. I utilize the practices that help me connect more with myself and my feminine essence and embody my feminine energy, so that I can feel good about myself, and so that when I'm in situations where I'm out networking, or I'm on stage speaking in front of a group, or if I'm in a sales conversation, I attract the attention that I want the way that I want. It's really about creating a magnetic energy that is so radiant that people just want to talk to you, and then expanding my energy so that I don't feel drained at the end of the day. So that when I'm around people, they don't drain my energy from me, and I'm not exhausted at the end of the day. Really filling my own cup, utilizing practices that allow me to do that. Those are the basics of what I do every day. And then I incorporate other practices that help me really look at what are the qualities of the women that I admire that I really want to have more of. What are the qualities that I want to embody more over the next 6 months or the next year? And so there's a lot of other practices that really incorporate, that changing your mindset, taking that handbrake off so you can move forward, growing as a person and an individual, so that you can have those better relationships in your life.
That's big stuff. I mean, flat big stuff. I mean, just the practice of being able to keep your energetic integrity throughout the day, so that when you come home, you still have energy to spare. Good grief. I don't know how many women I've talked to that, they go through work, they got to, even in the morning, they got to get their kids up, they got to get their husband up, they got to take care of them, they got to get them on the bus, then they got to take care of their own stuff, and they got to get to work, and work drives them crazy. And by the time they get home, they're done. They are absolutely done. So to be able to have a practice to where you could actually keep your energy intact and not let the world and all those psychic vampires drain you to death. Holy cow, that is so worth learning.
Yeah, absolutely, Terry. And the women that I work with, and the men, but the women that I work with the most in this, in this work that the work that I teach and the coaching that I do is, women who they work in corporate professional environments, or they have their own business, or they're entrepreneurs, or maybe they're in network marketing and they're work from home moms. But they've got so much going on that their life force and their radiance is just every day, it's slowly dwindling, because they don't know what to do to take care of themselves in a way that's not going to seem like they're piling more onto themselves, but instead in a way that's going to support them and uplift them and make them feel better. I'm not a business coach. I'm not a speaker coach. I'm not a trainer. Really, what I do is I help women learn to get out of those patterns and those old habits, change their energy and their mindset and their ability to have awareness around what's going on, really empower them to be able to know what to do to shift very quickly when, they're having that bad morning, the kids are screaming and yelling, all that great stuff. And the neat thing is I'm a very transparent, authentic, and honest person, and I will just tell people how it is. And that's really the neat thing. When I do this work with these women, I candidly and safely give you feedback on what is going on and why the challenges that you're dealing with and the struggles you have coming up, why they're happening, and we come up with a game plan of, how to change it. So it's really about helping women with career success, but also helping them in relationships, building better relationships, being able to have better communication, whether it's in work or personal life, is going to help you to increase your income and really have more valuable and meaningful relationships and really up level in your career, your expertise, so that you can be where you want to be.
When it comes to Art of Feminine Presence work, what are some of the questions that women want to ask you but often don't have the courage to ask?
Yeah, that is a great question. Oh, I love that. Okay, so it's usually the questions around the juicy stuff, right? So things like, all the women, you hear them say, people aren't seeing my value. I feel like I'm not being heard. I'm not being listened to. Like, women aren't afraid to say those things. But when we get into class or get into sessions, what usually comes out is that they ask questions around, or they want to know if it can change or get better, is I feel like I'm not worthy. I feel like I don't deserve to be happy. Is there hope? Is there hope that that my husband is going to want to have sex with me? We're not having enough sex. And honestly, I don't feel the drive or the attraction, to go there with him. Can that change? Is there hope for that? For some women, it's, I want to lose weight, but I don't have the motivation to, because I feel like this is just who I am, and this is what I'm stuck with. So really it comes back to, for all women, it's all different reasons, but it really comes down to, they want to know if there's hope, that they can love themselves more, learn to appreciate themselves more, so that they can then love and appreciate the other people in their life more. And they want to know that there's hope, that they can be happier and feel better about themselves.
Man. You answered that so eloquently, I'm almost speechless. So, who embodies Foxy in your world right now?
Oh gosh. So if you're talking about women that I know, that I admire, who I think are the epitome of Foxy, I would say, well, my good friend, coach, and creator of Art of Feminine Presence, Rachel Jane Groover. She is definitely a, sassy, sexy, foxy lady. I would also have to say my good friend, Christine Walsh. She's an amazing person, amazing personality, and she's always glowing and radiant. Another friend of mine, Natalie Davis, she's just so beautiful. She's got such a big heart, kind-hearted, amazing mother. And then I would have to say, a good friend of mine, Teresa Meyer, definitely falls into that category. She's very courageous. She's brave, and she faces the challenges that life brings her head on with grace and radiance. And all these women, and I know there's more. You kind of put me on the spot there, Terry. But all these women, they're really, really grounded and connected to themselves and very aware of what is going on and checking in with themselves and being able to shift their mentality, their energy, their emotions very quickly when they need to.
Well, I can see we're starting to run down on time here. So I always ask this question.
Okay.
What is the one piece of advice that you have for the Vulpanistas out there about how to stay foxy?
Really, the number one thing I would say is you really need to have the courage to do the personal work on yourself and take the time to do the work and care enough about yourself to be willing to make the changes that you need to make so that you can get what you want. That would be my number one golden nugget. The other thing is, if you're a woman, you really want to embody more of your feminine energy as often as you can. You don't need to embody that masculine energy to be powerful and stand out and really have people recognize your value or own your value. And then the other thing is stay present in the moment. Don't let your thoughts, don't let your thoughts go to someplace else. Really be in the moment, take in the moment, be as present as you can with yourself and whoever you're spending that time with or whatever you're working on. Because that's when your true authenticity is going to come out and people are really going to want to connect with you.
Oh, truth bombs. You are dropping some truth bombs. So how can people get a hold of you if they want to learn more about Art of Feminine Presence and the coaching work that you do?
Awesome. Great question, Terry. So the easiest way to reach me is just to pick up the phone and call me. So I can be reached at 970-232-9092. And I'm also on Facebook. You can look me up. It's Ann Rao or Ann L. Rao. So you can look me up on Facebook and find my professional page and my personal profile. It's all under the same names. I don't change anything. And you can shoot me an email as well. My email is connect@AnnRao, ANNRAU.com. Connect@AnnRao.com. Those are the easiest ways to reach me, is connect with me on Facebook, call me, or shoot me an email. And if it's okay if I share an offer special with your listeners,
You
Terry?
bet, please.
Awesome. So for anyone that's listening, who would like to know more, who would like some candid, safe feedback on why the challenges that you're experiencing are occurring and come up with a game plan of how to change them, I would like to offer you a complimentary strategy session. It's an assessment and coaching call. And during that session, I'm going to give you a sense of what sort of person you are so that we have a plan of why your challenges are happening the way that they're happening. And I'm really going to tell you what other people aren't willing to tell you, but in a supportive, safe, appreciative way so that you can really make the shifts that you want in your life. I'm going to give you, one tip that you can use in that call to start making changes immediately. And then I'm going to share with you what the resources are that I have available that can work for you ongoing. And then we can decide whether or not you want to work together to really dive into getting those challenges reversed, breaking the old patterns that don't serve you anymore, and getting you in a place that really serves you better so that you can increase your income, up level in your career success or expertise, and really have better relationships with people in your life.
Man, that's fantastic. What a generous offer. So yeah, if you're listening, definitely give Ann a call. That's a huge offer right there. So thank you for your generosity, Ann. That's excellent.
My pleasure, Terry. I love doing this work. I'm very passionate about helping people live the quality of life that they want to live. And so I hope your listeners will contact me because I'd love to get to know them.
You betcha. Well, thank you for being on the Get Foxy Show today. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule because I know you're out there changing lives. So thank you.
Thank you, Terry. It's been a pleasure to be on the show.